Hey, sugars, it is another amazing episode of Tour de Patio. And guess what? I got somebody amazing here today. Baby, let me tell you something. We live in Chic because, baby, she gave it to me. Let me just say this. Before I even introduce her, let me just tell y'all right now. The person that you're about to meet right now, she is the bomb. She is the bomb.com. Let me just stop and bring it on in. Y'all, come on, meet my girl, Sharla. It's doctor to you, but it's Sharla to me. Hey, sugar.
Hey, sugar. How are you?
I am so good, and thank you so much for being here today.
Anything for Queen Sugar.
Come on, Queen. Come on. I love it. Listen, I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to tell them what you really do, and then I'm gonna tell them what you do for me.
I mean, you want me to tell them all the things I do, or just a few of the things I do? Because I do a lot of things.
Sis, and you know what? That's why you're here, because you do. And then but the thing about it is, you do a lot of the things, and you do a lot of the things well.
I do a lot of things well because I decided that I will only do the things that fill my soul, things that bring me joy, the things that I can excel at. That was a hard shift. So all of my consulting and coaching, those are the things that I wake up every day, and they make me feel like I have purpose and power. So yeah. So between education consulting, between equity strategy, and between business consulting, I stay pretty busy.
I love it. That business consulting, y'all. Look, let me tell you something, y'all. This is the chick behind the copy for me, for what I stand for, who I am. When I went to Sharla, I was like, this is what I want. This is what I stand for. This is who I am. She listened, she keyed in, and baby, I don't know if you're ready, but this new patio chick, baby, is all about living chic, and baby, she is the woman behind it. So if y'all haven't tapped in, make sure you tap into my girl Sharla. But that's just one of the things, and I love that. So you're a mom.
I am.
I love it. You got
three
babies, two girls,
and
one boy.
Yes, 2 girls and a boy. My oldest is headed to the WNBA draft on April 10th.
Come on, shout out.
So super excited about that.
Shout
what
out,
her future
Maddie.
holds for her. Yes, Maddie. And then my son Evan, so proud of him too. And then my youngest is graduating from high school in just a little bit and headed off to college. So your girl is about to be an empty nester.
Come on, wait a minute, empty nester.
That means just me.
That means the dating scene and the having the.
Oh yeah, all of that.
So what's that like? So let's talk about that dating scene. And before we get into it, girl, let's go ahead.
We need some wine for this. We need a little wine
for this. So let's go ahead and
pour it up, sis. Pour it up.
Yes. You need half a glass or a full glass. Let me go ahead and get you a full glass.
There we go. We're good.
Let me go ahead and get you a full glass.
And I'm gonna start while you pour yours.
Go ahead. You ready?
Oh, the dating scene.
Take the glasses off.
Yeah, let's talk.
Are you ready?
I don't know if can you ever be ready for such. Number one, so I was married for just under 22 years.
Okay. Wow.
My ex-husband and I were together for 22 years. Wow. I've been divorced for 4 years now.
Okay.
So I've played with dating a little here and there. I played with it a little here and there, but work keeps me busy, like we talked about. Mm-hmm. My kids have kept me busy. So I see myself now having more time and space to pursue things that matter to me. But I don't know if dating is one of those things.
Really?
Tara, I think one of the most, you talked about how I was able to just take your vision and turn it into something.
Yeah.
Clarity is so important in life. And over the past 4 years, I've gotten really clear on what makes me happy. I was able to do this for you because you had such clarity about who you are, what you want this vibe to be. So the same is held true in my life. I've had an opportunity to really think about what matters to me, what I do and don't want.
Yes.
And I want, yes, we all want a partner, right? We all want somebody to do life with.
Absolutely.
But, over the past few years, rather than finding a solid +1, it's been a whole lot of -10s. And I don't know that I want to compromise the joy and the peace.
I don't think you should, though. I don't think you should.
So I don't know. I don't know where dating is going to fit into the next I got some traveling to do.
I know it.
Because I stay in the streets.
Baby, look, stay in the streets. But I love the fact that you know what you want. That even out of divorce, because you can come out of that, right? You can come out of that. But even out of divorce, you're like, you know what? Okay, so this happened.
Yes.
Let me get clear about who I am.
Yes.
Let me figure out what I really want.
Yes.
And who I am.
Because for 20 years, I was DeMarcus's wife.
Come on.
And I was Maddie, Evan, and Macy's mom.
Yes.
And I don't know that I really understood who I was outside of those two identities.
But who are you showing up as today?
Dr. Sharla, girl.
Sis!
Unapologetic about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just showing up.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Sharla.
Yeah.
and with a shoulder shrug.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
That
and I
is
think
so
part of
amazing.
that showing up is not just showing up for me, but it's been learning how to take who I am and use that to show up for other people too.
Okay.
Which it's beautiful.
So I love that. And
Yeah.
that brings me to something that we talked about kind of off scene.
Yeah.
Something that we both deal with.
Yeah.
And that's ADHD.
Oh yeah, it's a real thing.
And that was something that, because you weren't diagnosed until when?
Late 30s.
Wow.
Late 30s.
But that was a part of, after the diagnosis, that was a part of you getting clear.
It was.
And finding clarity in who you are and
Yes.
understanding and defining who Dr. Sharla is. What was that journey like?
My ADHD diagnosis came as we were trying to figure out why my son was having so much difficulty in school. And I didn't know that ADHD was genetic. And I didn't know how closely tied, one person's diagnosis was to a primary parent.
Wow.
So going through that process with my son, I learned so much about myself. And I remember talking to his therapist, and I was saying, all of this that we're talking about, Evan, like that's me. And so it was a journey. My mom and I would sit in the kitchen and cry about like what life had been like for me for all those years.
Oh my gosh.
And I think the thing is that was so powerful was that I was able not just to realize who, what it had been for my whole life, but it gave me an opportunity to pause and reframe what the future was going to be. Okay, so now that I know,
right,
what
when
now?
You know better,
you do better.
Okay.
And so it just allowed me, number one, like my language changed.
Yes.
I used to speak about myself with a lot of deficit language because I thought that there was something wrong with me.
Right, okay.
But then when I just normalized like being a whole different kind of person.
Yes.
And neurodiversity is, I think, something that we just don't understand enough about.
Right.
So, yeah, I reframed what I wanted life to look like for me in the future.
Yeah.
I started to use different language in how I spoke about myself.
Yeah.
I started to apply some very specific like strategies so that I could be successful in ways that I hadn't been successful before.
And so advocating for yourself, like you didn't, for all your childhood and sitting at the table with your mom and you all are crying, when you got to the point where you were like, okay, so how do I advocate for myself? Who taught you how to do that at the age of, because what age were you again when you found out?
37 or 38 when I got my diagnosis, but not really like 42, 43 before I started to like really shift the way I showed up and existed.
And what helped you, like what, did you go to therapy? Did you speak with someone? Like what was that
So
process?
Number one, I read every single article, every single book I could find on adult ADHD. And I would send them to my best friend and she'd be like, girl, that's you.
Oh my
God.
God. Okay.
Yes,
so,
it is.
So
yes,
I hope you got that list handy because I need it.
Yeah, I'm all bookmarked, sis.
Send it to
I will
me.
send them to you and everybody else who might be struggling.
Awesome. Y'all hear that? I'm gonna have the list for you. She's gonna give it to me. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
And it's so crazy. Like one of the things is like people. This is not new. It was new to me.
Yes.
But it wasn't new to everybody else.
Yes.
So I was able to lean on other people's knowledge, expertise, lived experience, and I'm like, oh, let me try. And it took me a minute to figure out what really, really works for me.
Okay.
And it also took me a minute to learn what works for me in different contexts. So the way the supports that I need at home are different from the supports that I need at work.
Wow.
That's different from the supports I need in a relationship.
Come on.
That's
oh my
different
gosh.
from the supports that I need from my friends. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
So the therapy.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
So I didn't actually go to a therapist. What I did, but I sent my son.
Okay.
So part of his
'Cause
diagnosis.
when you know better, you do better.
You do better.
You get
Part of the diagnosis was him not just learning getting the diagnosis,
Okay.
but then figuring out like what are the strategies and coping mechanisms to be successful.
Okay.
And I, like a sponge, just took all of that and figured out what applied to me in what context and what didn't.
Really? Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
you were just kind of going through, living vicariously through your son.
Pretty much.
In
Pretty
therapy.
much. Because I wasn't
like
paying
it.
for both of us to go.
Well, because it can be expensive. And whoever is watching, any therapists out there, hey.
And I will say, let me be clear. So there was therapy, but then there was cognitive and behavioral therapy. So
Okay.
this is very different from just like emotional and mental therapy, which
Right.
I was already engaged in.
Yeah.
Did have an amazing therapist that I was able to
Right.
talk to. Hey,
Absolutely.
sis, this happened. I just
How do
got
I
this
get through?
diagnosis.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk about this.
Right.
You
How do
know,
I function in
how
this
do
space?
I function in this space?
Because
Yeah.
that's important. That's important, understanding how to function in that space and
Yep.
how to deal with and how to become your best self.
Best
And
self.
I just-
and that was my goal.
And you know what?
Like, we coming out of this.
And you came out. And
We
let
coming
me
out of
just
all
say,
this.
Let me just say, you are the epitome of Black girl magic. And I just love you. And I thank you. And I'm
friend.
gonna try to keep my eye sweat disease under wraps because I appreciate you. I appreciate you because I'm struggling with that ADHD and not getting it. I'm really trying to keep my eye sweat disease at bay right here. But first of all, not being diagnosed, but understanding because you're going through it with your children. But this part, when we actually get to talk about it, and I see another sister who has gone through it, dealt with it, but you're living your best life. You are functioning. You are doing your best. You are freaking amazing.
Thank you.
And you're doing this, sis, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
And I think you're awesome.
There wasn't going to be another thing to stop me. There had already been enough things to stop me.
Okay.
My divorce tried to stop me.
Come on.
Raising teenagers tried to stop me. Work
Oh
drama
my
tried to stop me.
gosh.
Like, this wasn't going to stop me.
Is she speaking
This
to
was
us,
easy.
y'all? Oh my God.
Like, this was light work.
This was what?
This was light work.
Okay.
All I had to do was figure it out. Like, I'm the kind of person that I might not know how to play the game, but give me the rule sheet and I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah. And we're not beeping that out either. And we're not doing no
I'm gonna figure
beeping.
this shit out, and I'm a master.
Yeah.
I'm gonna master.
We're gonna this is gonna be a mastermind in the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Period.
And this is what it needs to be.
Yeah.
We need to get connected. We need to talk about this.
And that's it. Normalizing
Yeah.
it. Just like there is nothing wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong.
And this whole idea of like this bell curve society and
Yeah.
what's normal and what's not. No, we all normal.
We all
just
are.
different kinds of normal.
We are creatives. And we create
Yes.
in different ways.
That's right.
And the way I create is different from the way you
Period.
create. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Because my normal may not look like your normal, but
Yeah.
we are both normal.
That's right.
Girl, listen, this has been amazing. I
Yes.
thank you so much for being here. Cheers. Absolutely.
girl.
This
Cheers.
is, oh
Black
my
girl
gosh, Black Girl Magic.
Yeah.
Y'all, this has been another amazing episode of Tour de Patio. Y'all, I don't know if you've been tapping in, but listen, if this is the first time you've tapped in, make sure you like, share, follow. Make sure you bring all your sugars to see, and make sure you tap in for the next episode. Y'all, this is it. I'll see you next time.